to Abner Gamer. You like comic books? You like anime? You like them in video game format? Then this is the channel for you. Today we're continuing our showcase of Marvel's Avengers, and we're going to focus on the character Black Widow. Natalia Romanova, or Natasha Romanoff, is a fictional character created by Marvel way back in the 60s. Okay, she was supposed to be born in about 1945 and from Stalingrad. Her parents were from Stalingrad, and then she became an antagonist to Iron Man. So she spent her whole early career basically just battling Iron Man and trying to do espionage for the Soviets, and then fell in love with Hawkeye. So regardless of what you've seen in the movies, that is the truth of Black Widow. So we want to build the comic book accurate Black Widow here. And as always, we're going to test this on the Rift. We're going to go with the highest ranked mission here. Oops, that was a mistake. Hold on. Make sure it's set the challenge 4. Highest ranked mission here. And we're going to showcase her in 2 different settings. One outdoor versus the rocket troops, and one indoor versus the Dreadbot and the other troops. So when we look at her skills here, as you can see, this is probably totally against anything you've seen, but she does not possess super strength. She doesn't even have the strength of Captain America. She has been altered at the physical and the psychic levels. She's been totally changed so that she has this look that she's really young, but she's really as old as Captain America, and she never froze. She was a one-time love interest to Bucky or the Winter Soldier and trained under him for quite a bit. As you see here, we put everything into proficiency because all of her training is basically what makes her what she is. We made this so that we have a 33% crit chance. Almost anything I do is going to be a crit. And we gave her over 200 Valor so that your crit chance would give you 262% critical damage. And that her Widow's Bite and other heroic abilities tend to do well. We got 50 across the board in her resolve, resilience, and intensity. And just 65 in precision. Again, we're living off proficiency, the training, the crit. Nothing in might, as everything is going straight through doing critical damage. Her skills across the board, 50 points, nothing new there. Right here, we decided to go with Night Terrors. Increase the duration of Veil of Shadows by 3 seconds and increases critical attack chance by 25%. So when you use your support ability, you turn invisible, you're going to get a 25% bonus of crit chance. That plus the 33%, and you see you're talking 58, almost 60% crit chance, just off activating your support. We took Mortal Cloak to increase the critical attack chance for teammates cloaked by Veil of Shadows. Just as a bonus, it seemed like the best option there. For the Assault heroic ability, went with Taser Dart. The Widow's Bite that doesn't explode but attaches to the target and applies shock damage. This is just seems to be the most advantageous one out of the 3. It just does the most damage, it seems to me. I've tried the other ones, pumped it full of Valor, and this one seems like it just hits the hardest. And we took Lethal Bite, hold an additional Widow's Bite charge. Extra charges appear in small circles, right. So this allows me to fire off multiple, because if anybody knows anything about the comic character Black Widow, she basically lives and dies by those Widow Bites. She just fires them from her wrist like weapons. She doesn't really carry guns most of the time. It's just those Widow Bites and her Kung Fu. Her ultimate ability here, we went with increase the damage of Widow Bite while Power Surge is active by 20%. Again, trying to juice the damage out of that Widow's Bite. And finally over here we have Indomitable Force to increase the damage by 30% and reduce the severity of hit reactions for some enemy attacks while Power Surge is active. So when you use her ultimate ability, she's going to get basically an armor, and she's going to be impact, so she won't be stopped or interrupted in her attacks as frequently. Our masteries are Overcharge Critical, increases critical attack damage while Overcharge. Again, we're feeding to the crit damage. For takedowns, to boost the increased amount of intrinsic shadow ops energy by 20 points. You're just trying to live off takedowns and continuously build them up and keep working it here. Efficient Overcharge increases the delay by 1 second before intrinsic shadow ops energy begins to deplete when not attacking enemies. This heroic Overcharge is just a bug. It doesn't apply both of them. At least I haven't seen it do it, but it appears that this bug is here where it looks like both of them are clicked. And we took Cluster Grenade, throws a spread of 3 grenades that inflict damage over a wide area. Voltac Grenades, so we're using shock damage to the grenades. As you'll see in our gear, we're applying pin particles to our melee damage, so the shock and melee and the particle melee is a nice combination of damage there. The positive negatives going against each other. We took recoil compensator to reduce the shot recoil by 15%, allowing for steadier aim. We also took invisible status, increases all status damage while invisible by 20%. Invisible recharge, heroic energy recharge is 15% faster while invisible. Critical melee, increases critical attack chance by 20% for melee attacks while invisible. Again, feeding that whole narrative of we're gonna crit, we're gonna crit, we're gonna crit. Performing a takedown spawns heroic orb for our utility. We took range damage, so range all attack damage from range attacks are 10% increased. And finally, we took light and heavy attacks boost the energy of all heroic meters by 5%, just to continuously feed that heroic. So when we go back to our gear here, you can see we have 3 exotics and we're wearing 1 legendary. So the 1 legendary piece I'm wearing here is increased critical attack damage while invisibility is active. You see, so we're just feeding that. So while I'm invisible, it's automatic crit, basically. Using heavy combo finishers to apply pin particle damage and a 14% critical melee chance or critical attacks from melee will boost willpower. So that's my sustainability. I'm using the Zarnia's Fury for my range pieces, proficiency and precision. That's where that 65 precision has come from, and the 61 precision or proficiency. The 2-stat pieces are really, really good in that the bonus that they give is better than anything else you'll get. They're almost always above 60, and you're just not getting that anywhere else, really. Not typically, anyway. For our chest, we're using Vest of the Storm here. It's proficiency in Valor. That's basically our main stats. Feeds right into that, like I said, 61 and 65 again. Now, the cryo potentinator or the increase of cryo damage doesn't really do anything for me, but it's just what I got, so it is what it is. Finally, we got a hive mind belt that I got from doing the hive, the weekly hive. Is resolve, resilience, and intensity. This is my defense piece. This is how I got my 50 resolve, my 50 resilience, and I've got 50 intensity for stun protection and stun damage. And it further reduces the impact resistance while applied while debuffed after successful parry by 50%. And increases the willpower recovery from attacking cosmic inflicted enemy, which is nothing to me because I don't have any cosmic damage. But it does increase the heroic assault charge rate by 18%. So when you look at my stats, I'm almost at 40% for my heroic assault charge rate. So I'm firing off Widow Bites like I'm just giving them out all day. So let's showcase the build. After Cap, Natasha or Black Widow is actually the 2nd best martial artist that we have available to us right now. The physiological advances that she's got from her training and the biometric changes that occurred to her from the whole Red Room and Department X stuff has made her pretty much an animal. Now, she doesn't have any real enhanced strength, really, but she does come with enhanced reflexes, senses, reaction time, all the good stuff. So, like I said, we don't have anything really going on here with might. That's not how we're living. We're making our money off of crit. And I know people come out here and you can see them with high might and valor builds and do a ton of damage. No doubt about that. But remember, you're only getting 700 points. So you got to be lacking somewhere. So if you got that, chances are you're going to be lacking at her range capacity. And range is something that she does as well. I don't think that you can really sacrifice her or Captain America's range for just so you could do some extra melee damage. It just doesn't seem real comic book like to me. Now, I mean, I've seen it and it works. You know, people play any way they want. It's just that if you're Cap and you're not throwing a shield, or you're Widow and you're not throwing Widow Bites, then what are we doing? So, as you can see, it does take me an extra hit or two to put down a target. But not much more, you know, not really. And I have to incorporate the Widow's Bite into almost everything I do. That's the damage that I'm doing that's allowing me to actually even drop their shields in the first place. Because physically, she wouldn't be able to bring the shields down because she doesn't have the strength for it, really. Which fits in line with the comic books. So that was our outside scene. Next, we move inside.
place? I've nearly breached.
I'm actually happy to show this particular
See to the AIM forces.
this Dreadbot here, because as I showed in the Thor video, these things don't appear to take any kind of shock damage, like at all. Like look over their head, they don't. And so for her, since she does shock damage, this is, you know, something she's got to get around. Like, you know, what do you do? And this is where her weapons come into play, her guns. So she break out them things, and they all do plasma damage. So just another tool in the chest, another way to, you know, address a situation that you might not be able to address otherwise. Thor can obviously get physical with it, you know, and smash it, but she doesn't really have that option, right? So I can keep pumping shock rounds into it, but it doesn't really do anything. Not like it does to, you know, standard enemies. My best bet is to shoot it with plasma rounds and then stun it up and just finish it off. Looks like the computer went ahead and took care of that one for me.
It seems AIM intends to physically remove some kind of.
So this is on the hardest setting, challenge 4. It doesn't seem as hard as it did before. I don't know if that's a bug or what. But there you are. There you have it. This is Natasha Romanoff, or the Black Widow, and she is their version of a super soldier. Thank you for tuning in, and please like, subscribe, and share.